when I was at the 80th birthday party of Mrs. Johnson up at the LBJ Library, I sat next to two ladies that were talking about Ms. Johnson and talking about her congenial Southern hospitality. And at some point, I guess I must have told them that I knew her and that I was going to be performing that night. And one of the ladies asked me, they said, quote, "Is she for real?" And what they meant was, is all of her charm and all of her grace a put on, or is it real? And I said, ladies, I'll tell you a story.
Driving through the state I love, I stop at every bend.
My name is Sid Fly, and back in 1982, I came back to Texas. And one of the first things that happened was my cousin Liz Carpenter introduced me to Lady Bird Johnson. Liz was also the press secretary for Lady Bird Johnson throughout the White House years, but more importantly, she was a cousin and a dear friend, and she thought it would be good for me to come up and perform for Lady Bird at an event there. And so I went up to Austin to Stonewall at the ranch, and Liz introduced us. It was rather formal and very polite, and that was the end of that. I played the gig, but it was the second time that I was called by Ms. Johnson's social secretary to come back up to the ranch and perform for a small group of people. I went up to the ranch, parked my car, and I wasn't sure what to do because there were no Secret Service men around, and I didn't know what the protocol was. I didn't know whether I should walk up and knock at the door, ask if anyone is there. I wasn't sure where to set up my PA system. And right about this time, Lady Bird herself stepped out of her patio door. She stepped out, and I never forget, she was wearing red patent leather shoes, a denim skirt, and a red and white checkered blouse with a bandana. And she stepped out, and she looked over at me, and she said, "Sid Fly, I'm so glad that you're able to come and play for us today." And she came over and grabbed me by the hand and said, "Have you had anything to eat?" I said, "Well, no, ma'am, but I normally don't eat." She goes, "Come with me." Took me back through the house, led me into the kitchen, sat me down at a little table there in a breakfast nook, and she introduced me to a lady named Tilly. And Tilly was a little dumpling of a woman that had been working for Miss Johnson for many years, and Tilly was making pecan pies and some other food for the guests that were to arrive soon. And she said, "Tilly, this is Sid Fly, and he's our musician today, and I want to make sure that you get him fed." And with that, Ms. Johnson looked at me and she said, "Are you going to be okay?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am." And I fell in love with her at that point. And subsequent to that day, I played for her for 25 years up until the time of her death.
While you're on the road, between the colors and the sky, take a look at the dreams of a lady as you pass by.
Well, I didn't know this at the time, and I guess I kind of thought that the whole planting flowers on the highways was a little bit much, maybe superfluous to what needs might arise in a culture. I just thought it was not that important. But one day I was driving down Highway 281 going towards the border of Mexico, and it was a beautiful springtime, and there was just an amazing myriad of colors along the highway. And I stopped and I got out of my car and I walked up into the flowers, and I guess I was awed by that beauty. And right then I started a song that I finished, I guess a year or two later, and then I sang it for the first time at Miss Johnson's 80th birthday party. And it's called Dreams of a Lady. And the song, I guess the song pays tribute or homage to Miss Johnson's concern about the natural beauty of our land. I guess her thought was that if we took care of something as mundane as our highways, we might possibly take care of our cities and our parks and our own homes as well.
All over the country, there is an awakening to the preservation of nature's endowments. As the lights go on tonight, I look out over the river with its grassy banks and cottonwoods and cypress and pecan and willow and retama. All I can say is, this is America beautiful. Thank you.